Hello and welcome to episode 145 of Glitch Report. My name is GnittWitt. Make sure to bust out the fan, dust the fan in some cases. If you got like dust on your fans, it's been accumulating throughout the winter and fall months. You might want to get that ready because it is time for summer, and with summer comes the Summer Game Fest. That is right around the corner. The heat is already here. We are looking at, if I take a look at my phone here, lows of 12, highs of 27, currently 22 degrees where I'm at. And where I'm at is a tiny room filled with computers and a fan and a window that is, I can't let the window be open too much because of noise issues. So I'm here sweating it out, talking about video games. I'm in the sweat lodge today. The 22 is not that bad. I gotta be honest, I find myself being a little more heat sensitive. Like I almost don't have the patience to suffer with being hot the way I may suffer being cold in the colder months. Anyways, I'm not a big fan of heat. I don't like the heat. I stay out of the kitchen. I'll order Uber Eats. I can't take the heat. What do you want me to say? But I'm gonna have to take the heat because Summer Showcase is happening. The Summer Game Fest is live with their schedule. They've actually had a couple of things happening now. The main show is not going to be happening for a little bit. We're going to run down the Summer Game Fest schedule in just a moment as part of news. I've also been playing a bunch of games. We're going to talk a bunch of games. Have a little bit more to say about Fortnite to maybe no surprise. I've also been playing a couple of different games that kind of surprised me that I just kind of found myself playing. Last week, we're going to talk about that as well. So if you want to know my hot takes on Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, yes, the forgotten Fallout Brotherhood of Steel game for the PlayStation 2. Oh boy, do I have a lot to say about that game. But let's kind of go back to the summer. I have to take apart this. Well, I don't have to take apart the computer, but I have to unplug. I got to be honest with you. I got to unplug everything on this computer. Unplug everything in this computer, and I'm gonna have to take it outside. I'm gonna have to dust it out and blow it out. As time, the computer, probably other electronics. Maybe you have a dusty Xbox or something. I don't know, but at some point, dust, skin particles, and all of that good stuff accumulate, and it is going to make this PC louder. It's going to make it hotter if I don't do something. So that's probably what I can look forward to. Maybe not this week, but next week for sure. We're gonna probably dust out this PC. That's not like a video thing. That's not like hey, it's just, hey, you might want to like get your fans cleaned, or you might want to check your AC, or you might want to do this and do that, because if it could be 22 to 27 in late May, brother, is going to be probably that and more come July, August, etc., etc. So I don't know if we're expecting like a hot summer or a cool summer or what. I imagine with climate change being what it is, I'm just going to melt into this chair at some point in time and die sitting at my computer, but maybe that won't be even related to the heat. We won't know until that happens, which, hey, could happen any moment. So let's keep going, talking about video games. I got the Summer Game Fest schedule lined up here. It has technically been going on since yesterday. That is yesterday, May 27th. The official start time for it isn't until June 6th, but I wanted to cover everything that is happening from a game showcase perspective, not just the Summer Game Fest showcase, not just Xbox Day of the Devs, but really anything and everything that is happening, because it is very accessible for those that want to check it out. If they want to check it on YouTube or Twitch, it's up there, it's available, and I'm going to run through that list for you in just a moment here. So you might have missed it, but the Summer Game Fest games showcase kicked off with the Tiny Build Connect. That is from indie publisher Tiny Build, who showed off a variety of games such as Kingmakers, Hello Neighbor 3, Speedrunners 2, King of Speed, and Of Ash and Steel. That is up now on YouTube if you want to check that out. If you are watching this live today, I'm getting ahead of myself. The May 27th, that was a tiny build, so that was yesterday is the time of this recording. Tomorrow on Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. There's a typo. There's a typo in the article that I'm looking at. 10 a.m. Live on YouTube and Twitch. The Thinky Games Direct that's happening May 29th. This is a game showcase set to promote puzzle games of all shapes and sizes. This is the first ever direct to do that, featuring exclusive reveals, updates, and trailers for new puzzle games on the horizon. If you fancy yourself a thinker, I certainly don't, but if you fancy yourself a thinker, I got good news for you, because there is a whole game direct happening May 29th, 10 a.m., all about puzzle games. That same day, if you are a fan of JRPGs, this is going to be a short, well, actually, it didn't really say how long it'll be. We're looking at about 40 or so trailers, world premieres, reveals, all this stuff as part of Indie Quest. Indie Quest is happening May 29th over on YouTube at 4 p.m. So you got plenty of time after the Thinky Direct to get ready for another direct happening that same day later on in the afternoon. 4 p.m. for Indie Quest. Again, going to primarily focus on JRPGs, and I imagine plenty of indie games as well. Speaking of indie, we have the Indie Games Showcase, the best indie games showcase. That is happening at 8 a.m. on June 3rd. So, a couple of these events are kind of getting out of the way early for this. So if you want stuff that's happening this week, basically you got the Tiny Build Connect, Thinky Direct, and Indie Quest if you want to catch up on stuff from this week. And then it won't be until next week where we get the best indie showcase happening 8 a.m. over on YouTube on June 3rd. This is based off a YouTube channel that has established itself as one of the most popular destinations for discovering indie games. And it is going to do so in a large games showcase. Games confirmed to appear include Hotel Barcelona, Ruffy and the Riverside, Outbound, and Cattle Country. Following, actually right at the same time, so you're going to have to make some tough choice. I mean, you don't have to make, you just watch one and then the other. It's fine. We have the Mix Summer Game Showcase hats also happening at 9 a.m. over on YouTube. This is brought to you by the Guerrilla Collective, who is partnering up with the Media Indie Exchange for an online showcase. You can expect new game announcements, reveals, and fresh looks at gameplay for upcoming titles. I think this is an awesome one. I think this is a wonderful thing to see. June 6th, we are getting the Accessibility Summer Showcase. This is hosted by Laura Kate Dale. The third annual showcase spotlights new and upcoming games created by disabled game developers. The event also highlights accessibility game features and settings, celebrating the industry's growing initiative to ensure every person can engage with gaming. That's happening at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over at YouTube, June 6th. And then the main event, for I think a lot of people would say this is the main event. I mean, this is the name that the event gets its name from in the first place. The Summer Game Fest Showcase is happening at 2 p.m. on June 6th. YouTube, Twitch, wherever you got it. Hosted by everyone's favorite Canadian, Jeff Keighley, where you can expect a bevy of world premieres, updates, and advertisements for food delivery apps and mobile games. Now, immediately following Summer Game Fest is probably one of my favorite showcases that happens every year. Day of the Devs. I would say this is the premier indie showcase. There's a lot of great indie showcases happening, focusing on certain genres and styles and all of this stuff. And I love it. I think it's awesome. But if you wanted like this is going to such a terrible way to describe it. The WrestleMania of indie games. The WrestleMania of indie games is showcases is probably Day of the Devs. This is being presented by Brutal Legend and Psychonauts developer Double Fine Productions and collectibles company I Am 8-Bit. Previous editions have showcased a litany of exciting and unique titles from smaller independent developers from various backgrounds. So if you're watching Summer Game Fest, just keep it tuned in to wherever you're watching, because that's going to happen immediately. Day of the Devs is immediately going to follow Summer Game Fest. June 7th, if you were looking for something cozy, something relaxing, something chill, and something that's probably also very indie, might I recommend you stop by the Wholesome Direct, June 7th, 9 a.m. over on YouTube and Twitch. This is a relaxing game showcase, a curated selection of roughly 60 titles ranging from big companies to indie creators. The event will also provide updates on the Wholesome Games Presents titles, Is This Seat Taken? And Make Room. And that's happening 9 a.m. June 7th. We got another showcase happening really soon after the Wholesome Direct happens. I'm talking about the Women-Led Games Summer Games Showcase. This is happening 10 a.m. on YouTube. This is going to be a showcase featuring 39 games developed by women creators and teams. You can expect updates on announced titles and world premieres. Now, I gotta be honest, like June 7th is a day where it is one after another, which is super awesome for those that don't want to get up off the couch. Because 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over at YouTube, we got the Latin American Games Showcase. This event, partnered with Summer Game Fest, features world premieres and updates for over 50 titles developed in Latin America. 12 p.m. that same day, also partnering with Summer Game Fest, we have the Southeast Asian Games Showcase, where you can expect over 45 titles created in Southeast Asia to be represented right there at Summer Game Fest that same day. After that, 1 p.m., one of the bigger showcases of the year, you got such voice actors as Laura Bailey and Matt Mercer holding it down for the Future Games Show Summer Showcase, highlighting over 40 AAA and indie games. Noticeable announcements include a new trailer for Supermassive Games Directive 8020. Those are the Until Dawn people. An interview with developer Hangar 13 for Mafia: The Old Country, and a new trailer for Crystal Theaters, a Theater of Idols from Blumhouse Games. The final showcase is going to be for that day, for June 7th, is going to be the Frosty Game Fest. That is going to be a first of its kind showcase, specifically spotlighting games developed in Australia and New Zealand. As the organizer state, it's a hard time to make games right now, and the Frosty team believes the outstanding games from this part of the world deserve more attention. For all you, that's 4 p.m. on June 7th, which is fucking crazy. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 showcases throughout June 7th. Very exciting stuff. I'm always happy to see more showcases like that. Spotlight all those games if you can. June 8th is a big day. We got the PC Gaming Showcase presented by PC Gamer. That's happening at 12 p.m. That is going to showcase over 50 titles hitting PC, Mac, and Linux in 2025 and beyond. That is going to include developers and publishers such as Ubisoft, Devolver, Astrologic, and Fail Better Games. Now, obviously, if these games are coming to PC, Mac, and Linux, there is a very good chance they are also going to be coming to consoles as well. So you might want to check that out. 10 a.m. June 8th. So this article is also out of order, but c'est la vie. This also, I've said this before, this also might be one of my favorite showcases of the year because for the last couple of years, these guys have hit that shit out of the park. Even if all the games have come out have been super amazing from this, the showcase themselves have been really, really, really well done. I'm talking about the Xbox Games Showcase happening 10 a.m. June 8th. That is on Sunday. Now, you're getting a little double whammy from Xbox. They've been doing this for the last couple of years because Xbox has its game showcase happening June 8th at 10 a.m. That's going to immediately follow a direct focus solely on one game. In the past, they've done things where it's like, oh, we're doing our showcase followed by Black Ops 6. The year before that, it was here's our showcase followed by Starfield. This time around, the main game they're going to be focusing on after the direct is the Outer Worlds 2 made by Obsidian Entertainment. Very curious to see how that game is shaping up and also everything else coming to Xbox. And I'm also always curious to know how many of these Xbox games that either get announced or debuted or showed, whatever it is, I would always like to know how many of those games eventually make their way over to PlayStation. June 11th is as of right now, the final day for showcases. 10 a.m. on YouTube. It is the Upload VR Showcase, a big event that promotes emerging virtual reality titles across various platforms, including exclusive announcements and first looks at upcoming titles. So there you have it. That is all of the events currently happening as part of Summer Game Fest. You'll be able to watch all of those on YouTube if you want to, whether you're watching on your phone, TV, whatever you got, you can make that happen. I wanted to also cover something else that has kind of been brought up as part of the Summer Game Fest. Jeff Keighley has shown off a list of partners that are going to be at Summer Game Fest in some way, shape, or form. Now, a lot of people look at this list and they start to get very excited. They start to get very, very excited about what all of this could mean. And the reason why people are excited about this list is that there are companies that are not formally announcing a showcase that are still appearing as part of Jeff Keighley's 2025 Summer Game Fest partners. I'm talking about Nintendo and PlayStation. Nintendo does not currently have a Direct or a Treehouse or anything announced for the Switch 2. I mean, the Switch 2 will be out by the time Summer Game Fest is happening. The Switch 2 will be out. So I think a lot of like Nintendo being there is going to be like, oh, hey, this game's coming to Switch 2. Or, hey, we're going to run an ad in this showcase being like, hey, Mario Kart, it's out now. You should play it. I don't know. Buy a Switch if you can. You probably can't, but oh well. PlayStation. I'm sure that PlayStation will probably have some games or some announcements or something at Summer Game Fest, even if it doesn't make it a state of play or a Summer Game PlayStation showcase. Like, people were like, oh my God, Nintendo, oh my God, PlayStation. But it's like, yeah, like, you mean to tell me that these games that are getting announced are not going to come to a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch 2? Like, it's going to happen. So even if it's limited, they're going to be there. Other people that are scheduled to be there, Steam, because as you know, a lot of the indie games that get demos make their way to Steam first. So if you're looking to play a lot of the demos for a lot of these indie games, that is going to be Steam is going to be the place for that. But they also said like, oh, Atari is going to be there. I don't know what Atari is doing. Amazon Games is going to be there. CD Projekt Red is going to be there. Capcom is going to be there. Magic the Gathering is going to be there. Epic is going to be there. Nexon, Niantic, Razer, Square Enix, Supermassive, Techland. A lot of people, a lot of companies are going to be there. And I would say maybe don't get too excited about what these companies could be providing in a scenario where, you know, it could be like, oh yeah, this game's already, it could be an ad. It could very easily be an ad for something that already exists. Let's move on. Summer Game Fest. That's happening. It's almost happening. It's currently happening. It's on its way. But let's talk about the here. Let's talk about the now. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has sold 3.3 million copies after 33 days. I don't know how much more poetic you can make the success of this video game, but here we are, 3.3, 33 for Claire Obscure Expedition 33. They put out a kind of an announcement on Blue Sky saying 33 days ago, we released Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Since then, we've sold 3.3 million copies. Seriously, as of today, we couldn't make that up. Another entry on the long list of surreal moments that your support has made real. Thank you all. Now, according to publisher Kepler Interactive, the 3.3 million number doesn't include any additional downloads through Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass, meaning the total number of players could be significantly higher. As you all know, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 came out April 24th and has enjoyed huge widespread acclaim, currently standing at 92 on PS5 and then 91 on Xbox and PC. That's out of 100. It doesn't get much closer to out of 100 than that. So that is incredibly exciting. I don't know what else to say. Like I'm kind of over here being like, the game is slowly, for context, like I'm continuing to play that game over on my YouTube channel as part of the 33andMe playthrough of that game. I'm slowly starting to warm up to the game now that I'm in Act 2 of 3. I am starting to warm up to it, but it's also a scenario where I find it to be, I'm not in love with 33andMe the way that other people are. I think it's fine. I think it's good, but I am not in love with it. That doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve any and all success. I think it absolutely does. I think what they have pulled off is really special. And it's really resonating with a lot of people. Like, again, for me, like I may come off as such and such, don't like this game, don't care about this, like whatever. But like at the end of the day, like I would love to be wrong. Like if I'm going to sit here and be like, I don't think, Claire Obscure is going to be my game of the year or anything like that. If other people are like, dude, this is like the best thing I've played. I loved it so much. It made me feel a certain way, this and that. Like, fuck me. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong and have other people be right. So incredibly successful game Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has been for the studio, for the publisher, and for a lot of people that were really looking forward to this game. Well done to everyone involved. What do I got here? So this news story, there's a lot to this news story. And I'm not trying to read the tea leaves too much or anything like that. But there's a lot to this news story than just the headline. Let me read you the headline. This is coming to us from Video Games Chronicles. As always, shout out to Video Games Chronicles. This news story says Sony confirms discount on PS5 consoles, accessories, and software starting this week. The PS5, PS5 Pro, the DualSense controllers, the PSVR 2, and the games will get discounts this week, starting with as part of their Days of Play campaign. This is running from the 28th to June 11th. Participating retailers will be taking off $50 for the PS5 Pro in the US. A Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bundle, which comes with the PS5 console and a copy of the game, will be available in both PS5 and digital, starting at $400 for the digital. Sony says this is a saving of up to $120 compared to buying the game and console separately. There's also a ton of other games: Astrobot, the MLB The Show, Lego Horizon Adventures, all of this stuff. It's going on sale. Check your local retailers, check your listings and all that stuff for pricing. But there's kind of a little bit more going on. Think about it for just a moment with me. The Switch 2 is like a week out. Like Switch 2 is coming out like next week, right? So they're running this sale during a time when people would be getting ready for their Switch 2 pre-orders. It's also happening at a time where it wasn't that long ago that Xbox announced that it was increasing the price of their consoles. So Sony really at it, trying to play a game on two fronts, right? On one hand, you're maybe trying to shave off a little bit of those Switch 2 sales, in a scenario where people were prepared to pay $400, $500 for a Switch and a game or something. Now they're being like, I could get Call of Duty and a PlayStation for $400 US. Well, the Switch 2 was going to be like $450 US, right? Was it $450? And it doesn't matter. Don't quote me on the price. So right there, you're already trying to shave some people off, right? Because if they didn't get their Switch 2 pre-order, they might have a little bit of money burning a hole in their pocket. They might. And this is a great way to increase those PlayStation sales right now. But also keep in mind that if you just heard that, Grand Theft Auto ain't coming out for another year, maybe I could still buy a console now and get ready for it. That way I know I have it on launch. Maybe you don't buy an Xbox because you have been looking at the price of the Xbox being like, fuck, they just increased the price of this thing. Like, I didn't even buy one and they're already increasing the price of it. Shouldn't they be lowering the price? And with PlayStation, it's like you got those people right there saving up to $120 compared to buying a console and a game separately. That's a chunk of change for some folks. I don't undersell it. It really, really is. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's moving huge numbers of consoles. I couldn't tell you. But if I go to Amazon right now and I type in PlayStation, PS5, I'm going to type in PS5. Let's see if I can find that bundle on Amazon. Well, currently I can't find it on Amazon, which is convenient. Does Best Buy have it? Surely Best Buy would have it. PlayStation 5. Well, interestingly, okay, here we go. What is this? So right now in Canada, you can get a PlayStation 5 with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for $580. That's $70 off. Compare that to a Switch 2, which is going to be $700 with Mario Kart bundled in. Come on, man. That's a steal. It's a steal of a deal. If you don't have a console, if you're just trying to get into some gaming, tell me that's not a steal of a deal. I think that Microsoft completely fucked up increasing the price of Xbox. You already aren't selling enough Xboxes and enough consoles compared to your competition Why would you go and increase the price of a console that is just not selling? I don't understand. Someone unless they plan on doing some like crazy fire sale, in the summer or something. Why would they do this? Like, I know that like Sony does their Days of Play campaign. It's been something that they've done for a while. And honestly, I don't even know if Xbox has a Days of Play sort of marketing campaign similar to Sony. So you would think that Microsoft would get their marketing team to wake up and do something, but also have these consoles priced in a competitive way to their biggest competitor. So, I mean, you could argue their biggest competitor is everybody, right? Everybody's competing with everybody. That's why Sony's trying to compete with Nintendo as the Switch 2 comes out and all of this stuff. Like, I look at the Days of Play, and I know I hate to make this all about Xbox as a PC gamer. I understand people want to give me Microsoft bias, and that's fine. I'll welcome it. It's valid. But when I see this Days of Play campaign, all I can think of is a failed and missed opportunity by Microsoft. So check out the Days of Play campaign if you'd like. My understanding is that they also have deals on the PSN store, and I believe PlayStation Plus is also on sale. I could be wrong. What does it say? Save up to 75% off on games. Hey, you know what? I don't know if this is part of Days of Play or not, but you can get Forza Horizon 5 right now for $64. That's on sale from 80. So it's from $80 now down to 64, which is I think a reasonable price for that game. How much is PlayStation Plus going for right now? How much? Oh, it's save up to 30% on select 12-month plans. Well, shit, if you know you're going to have PlayStation Plus for a while, you could double dip and get another 12 months for 30% off. That's not a bad deal. Sign in to see offer. Oh, I don't have my Sony stuff with me. Or maybe I do. Maybe this is going to work. I just want to see what the price is. Oh, a text message has been sent to your phone. Where's my text message? Okay, don't say the number out loud, otherwise I'll get hacked. Boom. Oh, I didn't click trust this browser. Fuck. Oh well. Okay, how much? Just show me the price. Okay, I'm gonna click join PlayStation Plus. That's how they get you. Those motherfuckers. That's how they get you. So it's 15% off on essentials, 25% off on extras, and 30% off on premium. Well, shit. I mean, whatever, man. 15% off on essentials ain't nothing. Better than a kick in the ass. That's probably the best deal you're going to find all year. Let's move on. Cyberpunk 2 is now in pre-production. So says the good folks over at CD Projekt. Previously known as Project Orion, the conceptual phase of the game is now complete. It is being helmed by CD Projekt Red's new North American arm, which has studios in Vancouver and Boston. According to a statement accompanying its Q1 2025 financial report, the publisher stated that the sequel, which it now refers to simply as Cyberpunk 2, has entered the next stage of the development process. Several weeks ago, the CD Projekt Red team responsible for the next big game set in the Cyberpunk universe completed the project's conceptual phase. As a result, Cyberpunk 2, previously known under the codename Project Orion, has progressed to pre-production. CD Projekt also announced that the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion Phantom Liberty has now sold more than 10 million copies ahead of the release of the Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition on Nintendo Switch 2, which also contains the expansion Phantom Liberty. This result fills us with great satisfaction, especially given that a new edition is about to join our Cyberpunk portfolio when, on the 5th of June, the game's Ultimate Edition will be coming to the new Nintendo Switch 2 console. Positive reactions from gamers and media representatives who have had the opportunity to play the game at a series of global Nintendo events fill us with optimism. It's worth noting that for the first time ever, one of our games will be available at launch for a brand new platform. Well, that's something to be excited about, especially for Nintendo Switch 2 fans. This has been... I almost didn't want to talk about this. It's not that this isn't news. It's that this is just a lot of people having a good time. And I don't know if a lot of people having a good time is really news or not, but I'll just share this with you. Star Wars Battlefront 2 smashes all-time Steam numbers bolstered by a social media campaign. Fans of the franchise are attempting to spark a revival for the Star Wars shooter. Now, for context, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has beaten its all-time Steam concurrent player numbers 5 years after the game was released on the platform. The game, which has seen a spike in popularity over the last weeks due to a social media campaign from fans attempting to revitalize interest in the series, saw 18,635 players on Steam on Monday, the highest number of concurrent players achieved on the platform since it was released. When the game was first released in 2017, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was exclusive to EA Origin, and it was then later released on Steam in 2020. EA Origin was EA's basically storefront. It was their version of Steam or whatever you want to call it. While the original Origin release could have seen a higher initial concurrent player count, this week's peak of 18,635 is by far the game's highest Steam spike, far surpassing when the game was even added to the platform originally. Before this week, the highest player count was 10,486 back in January of 2021, meaning this record has nearly doubled that. The game also reappeared on the list of Steam's 25 top-selling games, suggesting that the social media campaign has recruited new players as opposed to simply sparking a resurgence from existing ones. Now, for context, EA ended support for the Star Wars shooter in 2020 after years of adding new heroes, maps, and modes to the game. Now, if you didn't play Battlefront 2 when it originally came out, Battlefront, if you don't know, is the Star Wars equivalent of Battlefield. So if you like big, military shooting, we got guns and we got, tanks and we got planes and all of vehicles and all of this stuff. Like Star Wars Battlefront 2 is basically Battlefield, but in Star Wars. And Battlefront 2 also featured a single player story based campaign. That all being said, when Battlefront 2 was first released back in 2017, the game was met with intense backlash due to its microtransactions, which were seen as aggressive and exploitative by many. It was estimated at the time that it would take a player around 40 hours to earn enough free credits to unlock a single hero in the game. Those locked heroes included iconic characters such as Darth Vader. The backlash was so intense that EA reversed its initial microtransactions plan to remove them entirely. At the time, it was claimed that Disney privately scolded EA due to the public backlash as the news of Battlefront 2's microtransactions crossed over from the game's press into mainstream media. By the time support ended, the community sentiment was positive in stark contrast to the backlash the game faced at launch. Following the viral resurgence in popularity of the game, a former Star Wars Battlefront 2 developer has said he'd like to get the band back together for a potential new entry in the franchise. Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2 were developed by DICE and published by EA during the publisher's long-term exclusivity period producing Star Wars games. While EA continues to develop Star Wars games such as the ongoing Jedi series and the upcoming Star Wars Zero Company, the Battlefront series is currently dormant. I think in practice, Battlefront 2 is an okay game now. It's just going to come down to, do you want to play a single player story based campaign in that game? Do you want to play the multiplayer? Do you want to do a little bit of both? I think it's a great looking, obviously it's a great, DICE makes gorgeous looking games. Like you've never Who's ever said that the Battlefront and Battlefield games have ever looked ugly? It's just not the case. It's a great sounding game if you really want to feel like you were in the middle of the shit in a Star Wars game. Like, look no further than Battlefront 2. And if you haven't had a chance to play it, there's never been a better time, apparently. This is another EA news story. WRC, the World Rally Championship. There's a variety of those games out there, right? Actually, the last game was EA Sports WRC, which was developed by Codemasters and came out in 2023. Earlier this month, Codemasters confirmed it ended its partnership with the WRC and would be pausing development plans for future rally titles. Codemasters also made the incredible Dirt Rally games. The Dirt Rally games had the Colin McRae name and license attached to it at times. And they didn't even have the WRC name, and those Dirt Rally games Dirt Rally are so fucking good. It's a shame that EA Sports WRC game wasn't as good. But here's what I wanted to kind of cover here. Is Nacon, which had previously developed WRC games from 2015 to 2022, has now signed a new agreement that grants it exclusive rights for PC and consoles for 6 seasons from 2027 through to 2032. The company says it plans to develop a complete reboot of the franchise based on an entirely fresh vision. This is aiming to deliver an immersive experience that faithfully reflects the reality of the championship and meets the expectations of both rally enthusiasts and new players. I played one of the WRC rally games that Nacon made. I want to say I played like a 2019 game. I did not love it. I thought it was not as good as like EA Sports WRC, but that all being said, if they want to come at it with a hot, fresh take, I'm always curious to see what the rally games are like these days. And I say if Nacon wants to take another stab at it, might as well, because it seems like no one else wanted to make rally games, so c'est la vie. We've been talking about Nintendo, when the next Nintendo Direct showcases, when their Treehouse events are going to start, and we don't know a ton, but we have some rumors to go off of. The rumor is that the next Nintendo Direct will reportedly drop around the Switch 2's launch, potentially June 5th. If this means it's officially part of Summer Game Fest or not, I couldn't tell you. But that is what we are looking at for a Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Direct in June is also a safe bet. Nintendo has held a Direct every year since the format was started in 2012. Minus 2016, which it was then winding down on Wii U and preparing to announce the Nintendo Switch originally. Nintendo has held multiple Directs this year. The first was announcing details on the Switch 2, a live stream dedicated to Mario Kart World, and another focusing on the original Switch console. Who can say if it's happening for sure? I have a pretty good feeling it will happen. We got a couple of kind of quick news stories we're going to bang through here. The Yakuza 0 voice cast says that the new director's cut scenes give a new sense of closure to the game. Yakuza 0 director's cut will be coming to Switch 2 on June 5th and will feature around 26 minutes of new cutscenes. Now, I'm not assuming that it's just not one single 26-minute cutscene and instead spread out throughout the game. That all being said, the official YouTube channel for developer Ryuga Gotoku Studio has published a video with the game's original Japanese voice cast who have returned to voice the new scenes. As translated, Kazuma Kiryu's voice actor Takaya Kuroda said he felt the plot for Yakuza 0 had some loose ends that he and fans of the series were curious about. Kuroda said that when he received the script for the new director's cut scenes, he thought they were refreshing and that fans will agree they bring a sense of closure to some of those loose ends. Hidenari Yugaki, who voices Goro Majima, said that the new scenes featuring his character make it clearer that although he has a scary appearance, he's kind-hearted on the inside. According to Yugaki, the new scenes make it clearer how dearly Majima holds Makoto and how much he wants to protect her. And finally, Hitoshi Ozawa, who voices Daisuke Kuze, said there are new scenes which helps to better explain the relationship between Kuze and Kiryu, giving more depth to the things the game originally briefly mentioned but didn't discuss in more detail. The director's cut version of Yakuza 0 will be exclusive to the Switch 2 and is coming out on launch date June 5th, featuring new, never-before-seen cutscenes alongside a new English dub. The original game only had a Japanese dub with English subtitles. It also includes a new Red Light Raid online 4-player multiplayer mode with up to 60 playable characters. I guess the thing that, if you've played Yakuza 0 and you don't plan on buying a Switch 2, I'm going to guess that you're just going to be able to go to YouTube shortly after the game comes out, and someone will have made a video of just all the scenes. I imagine that, someone will have made a video of like, okay, here's this cutscene, and then here's this cutscene, and then here's this cutscene. You can just watch all the cutscene and be like, okay, I didn't have to play the new game to see the 26 minutes of new cutscenes. Or maybe you want to watch someone play through the whole game on YouTube or play it yourself because you want to hear the English voice acting. I don't know if Yakuza should have English voice acting, but I guess we'll find out if it's any good when it comes out. Speaking of English voice acting, Persona 4 actor has seemingly confirmed there is a remake by saying that Atlus doesn't want to hire him for that remake. Persona 4 English voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, who also played Spider-Man, to name a few, has seemingly confirmed the game's long-rumored remake by saying Atlus isn't casting him for it. Lowenthal, who played Yosuke Hanamura in the original game, responded to fan questions about whether or not he'd appear in the remake by saying he wouldn't because, according to him, he's already asked Atlus about the remake and has been told that he hasn't been cast in it. Now, in a post on Blue Sky, Lowenthal wrote, "For those who keep asking, no, I will not be returning as Yosuke for the Persona 4 remake. I asked, maybe I even begged, but they don't want me to come back." Now, neither Sega nor Atlus has announced a remake for Persona 4, but reports have persisted that for some time it is in development. The last Atlus remake was Persona 3 Reloaded, which came out in 2024, where it was met with critical and fan acclaim. If you want to play Persona 4 now, you can play Golden, which is a remastering of Persona 4. It is out on PC, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation, and Switch. It's out everywhere. Persona 4, I love Persona 4. We were talking about Giant Bomb not that long ago. One of my favorite memories of Giant Bomb was being introduced to Persona 4 as part of Giant Bomb's endurance run, where they played through all of Persona 4. I would then later go on to play all of Persona 4 Golden myself and really, really love that game. So Persona 4 has a special place in my heart for a variety of reasons, but I am game for a Persona 4 remake. If they want to do it, more power to them. They already changed one of the voice actors between Persona 4 on PS2, the original Persona 4 on PS2, and Persona 4 Golden. So if they need to change more, what are you going to do? Actually, they might have changed two. I think they changed Chie. And didn't they change Teddy? Isn't Teddy also a different voice? You know what? There's no way to know. I will just note that Yuri Lowenthal deleted his post about Persona 4 on Blue Sky, which probably means that he was telling the truth, but wasn't supposed to talk about it. We got a little bit of video game movies, just a tiny bit. Ex Machina director Alex Garland also wrote and directed Annihilation, Men, and Civil War. He also wrote 28 Days Later and Sunshine. You may know him. You might even like some of his movies. I like some of Alex Garland's movies. Alex Garland will write and direct a live action, wait for it, build up suspense, Elden Ring movie. This man is going to make an Elden Ring movie. It is going to be produced by A24 and Bandai Namco. No release window has been announced. That being said, according to Deadline, Peter Rice is set to produce the film alongside Andrew McDonald, Alan Reich from DNA, George R.R. Martin himself, and Vince Geratis. Martin worked on the original game, providing some of the game's backstory and world building alongside Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Elden Ring series creator Hidetaka Miyazaki. Garland has a history in the video games industry. I will give him credit. He co-wrote Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Enslaved Odyssey to the West is a pretty good game. I don't know if it's still available. It was a PS3 game. I don't know if it's still available. He also was a story supervisor for one of my favorite Devil May Cry games. That is the reboot DMC Devil May Cry. A great, great Devil May Cry game. Don't let the haters tell you otherwise. I love it. And, I guess, sure, why not? It seems, that seems like such a hard thing to do. Like, of all the games to adapt into a movie, this seems like maybe one of the hardest. Really. I can't think of another game that has such striking visuals, such like unique tone and style to it, lore that is told in a very specific way. Like, I don't know how you capture Elden Ring in a movie, but if you want to do it, I say more power to you. Alex Garland, A24, Bandai Namco, George R.R. Martin, gonna try to make an Elden Ring movie. This is really quick. This is going to be our last news story. It is really, really quick. There was a Warhammer Skulls showcase that announced a variety of Warhammer games. I'm not going to go through all the Warhammer games. I will just go through some of the ones that they announced. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun is getting a sequel called Bolt Gun 2. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC in 2026. The game also got a spin-off called Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun Words of Vengeance, which is a free-to-play old-school typing game for the PC. Bolt Gun was that first-person shooter set in the Warhammer universe. The other thing I wanted to mention was that Space Marine, the original Space Marine, is getting a remaster. It is going to be called Space Marine Master Crafted Edition, and it will be coming out very, very soon on June 10th, available through Xbox Game Pass, but is currently skipping PlayStation. The game will feature 4K graphics, modern controls, and improvements to the interface, characters, and audio. For first-time fans of the Space Marine 2 can see where it all started as they wait for a Space Marine 3. Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader is getting a second story expansion called Lex Imperialis. They're also going to make Owlcat Games, the people who made Rogue Trader, are also going to be making a new Warhammer 40K RPG called Dark Heresy. No release date yet, but it's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is getting a Horde mode, so if you want to survive waves of the Tyranid and Chaos enemies with up to 3 players, you can do so in that game now as part of their update. Warhammer 40K Speed Freaks just hit full release on Steam. This is a racing game. This is a speed. They made a Warhammer 40K racing game, and it's out now on PC if you want to check that out. Warhammer 40K Dawn of War. These game names are always so long. God help me. I might as well just be talking about Atari 2600 back to back to back to back to back to back. Long story short, Warhammer 40K Dawn of War is getting its definitive edition. That is the real-time strategy game. There's also going to be a new, so many games. Stop it. Stop making Warhammer games. Warhammer 40K Supremacy is a map-based strategy game about high-level army management and is going to be coming out on mobile. Darktide, Warhammer 40K Darktide, which is another first-person shooter, is getting paid DLC. Warhammer 40K Mechanicus 2 was the XCOM-style turn-based tactics RPG. That's Mechanicus 2. Mechanicus 2 is coming out, and that's it. And now I don't have to talk about Warhammer anymore. Whew. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the news. Not the news. I can't even think now. We're going to talk about the games that I've been playing. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back to the podcast. We got just a short segment, then we're going to wrap this thing up. I have been playing... I've been kind of going back and forth on a lot of different games. Like, I was looking at like my Steam, kind of recent played games. I was looking at, because on, PC, it's not easy to just look at a single list of games you've been playing and be like, oh yeah, I played that and I played that and I played that. Like, I've been kind of bouncing around between a lot of different games. And I think it's okay to do that, but there is this part of me that's like, I'm never going to get a lot of the games that I want to get done if I don't like commit to something. Even if I end up sticking around with like an old game, like I feel like I'm just not committing to the bit right now when it comes to a lot of the games that I have been playing. Still playing Fortnite. I recently purchased the Rick Astley Never Gonna Give You Up dance emote in the game. Money well spent. So now my John Cena can be like, never gonna give you up. Anyways, it's fun. The nice thing about that emote, when you buy it and you use it, if another player is next to you, if they don't own that emote, they can still hit the X button and do the dance with you. So you can dance together doing that emote dance together, compared to when I go up to somebody and do like the "you can't see me" John Cena emote. They just have to stand there and take it. Whereas I can invite people to join me in the dance together with the Rick Astley Never Gonna Give You Up emote dance in Fortnite. I have completed the battle pass, so the battle pass is still going on for another week or two, but I am done the battle pass. I have unlocked Emperor Palpatine. Whether I use Emperor Palpatine or not, I don't know, but I've unlocked him. I have him. He's mine. The other thing I would say is, I don't know how much Fortnite I'm really gonna play on the regular. I think I would probably, at this point, I've enjoyed it enough, and now I have a better understanding enough of the game that I would probably drop in at least every update to be like, oh, what's changed? What's new? What's the new battle pass looking like? Who'd they add? What do they got? What's going on? And maybe I would sit there and, like, to me, I like grinding out the battle pass. Like, to me, I like playing the game and get rewarded for playing the game. Playing the game itself is fine, but I would be lying if I said that the carrot on a stick approach to, oh, just play a couple more matches or do this or do the to get this, and then you can unlock this, and oh, now you have this different Sabrina Carpenter outfit. Like, I like getting the dumb outfits. I like getting the dumb dances. I like spending a little bit of money when appropriate, because I know that all of the gameplay stuff comes for free. So all I'm getting is just accoutrement, little taste of some icing on the cake here and there. I'm fine with it. Like, to me, it's almost a better deal than being like, well, if I want to get all of this new Diablo 4 content, I have to spend $40 to $60 to get a new story, which comes with a new story and a new playable character and a new world. And like, it's like 60% of the way to being a full new game, but not quite a whole new game. So it's not priced at full price, but still. Whereas, by the time I'm done, maybe I will have spent like $60 to $80 in Fortnite, and I will have played it for a long period of time, but maybe not necessarily worried about buying the game content, because all of that gets provided for free. So if I'm being honest with you, Fortnite, I'm unlike Rick Astley, I'm probably going to give you up at some point, but I may return to it sooner rather than later, because I think the new season of Fortnite starts in like 2 weeks. So it is soon for Fortnite. We'll say goodbye to Star Wars and move on to something else. If you didn't get a chance, go over to my YouTube channel. Do me a favor. Go ahead and check out my Fallout Brotherhood of Steel video. That is 60 minutes of the worst Fallout game. Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, if you don't know, is a top-down action RPG from the PlayStation 2 era. And if you didn't watch the video, go do so. There's a reason why that video game is forgotten. People don't talk about it. It is a terrible piece of shit. There was somebody on Threads who was like, well, when did you play it? Because the context of when you played it would really indicate, whether you like the game or not. I'm sitting here being like, dude, the game is bad compared to its contemporaries then and now. Like, this guy was just like, oh, well, if you played it before it came out or whatever, or when it came out. No, the game sucks now. It would have sucked then. And don't try to tell me otherwise. But anyways, you can check out my Fallout Brotherhood of Steel video up now on YouTube. You can also check out my continued playthrough of Expedition 33. 33 and Me is also up on YouTube. New episodes are going to be out Friday. I might do like a double episode week sometime soon. I just don't know when, but you will, if you subscribe to the channel, you will know when that happens. The other game that I played a little bit of, I was feeling nostalgic. I was sitting around, like, oh, I just played this PlayStation 2 game. I just did this, just did that. And I was feeling nostalgic. And I thought to myself, well, what sort of nostalgia are you into, GnittWitt? What's your flavor right now? And the flavor that I had was, I want to play PlayStation 1 games. I had just finished playing Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, but I felt that that wasn't old enough for me. I wanted to play an old video game. And I wanted to play some PlayStation 1 games. And I was scrolling through the Epic Game Store mega sale, and I saw that they had the Tomb Raider original 1, 2, and 3 Tomb Raider games remastered. I think you got all 3 games for like $16 or something. And again, these are the original PS1 games. They have been remastered with new graphics. They also did a remastering of the controls. If you remember, the PlayStation 1 Tomb Raider games play like shit. They do not control very well. They are rugged. They are rigid. It's kind of like playing a original Resident Evil game, except you have to time your jumps on top of everything else. It's not fun. Those games do not hold up. But that's what I wanted to play. Fuck it, that's what I wanted to play. So I figured, okay, I'm not going to play the PS1 games. I'll try this remastered one. So I bought the remaster, and I immediately jump into the second game. I jumped into the second game, and I'm playing a little bit of the second game. And there's a couple of things to note about this remaster. First is you can toggle off and on the remastered graphics whenever you want. And the remaster doesn't look amazing. I gotta be honest, I don't think these remastered graphics look amazing as far as the new graphics that they applied to Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. I don't think they look amazing. That being said, the original graphics are so mind-blowingly bad, like so hard to discern what the fuck is going on in the environment around you, what you're supposed to, what's a ledge, what's a wall, what's a cliff, what's a this, what's a hill, how deep is the water, where does the water take you? Like, the graphics in the original game have aged like milk on the surface of the sun. It is, it's so bad. So, okay, all right. So it looks ugly. It's fine. They put lipstick on a pig. Okay, fine. Some remasters do that. I can get behind that. Playing through the second game a little bit, and I immediately jumped to the modern controls. I said, God damn it. I remember how those I remember how those original controls felt. Don't make me play with the original controls. Let me play with the modern controls. So I'm running around playing through the game in modern controls. And the reason why I picked Tomb Raider 2 is because I think I've played Tomb Raider 2 more than the other Tomb Raider games, and the first level of Tomb Raider specifically, like really, and Lara's Mansion, which is like the tutorial level. The first real level in Tomb Raider really sticks out in my mind. Like I'm familiar with that level. I know that level. And I'm climbing and I'm running and I'm jumping and I'm doing all the Lara Croft shit. And I'm like playing with the controls and I'm thinking to myself, this is mushy. This is mushy. It's not stiff. It's not rigid the way that the original game controls felt. This feels mushy. Like I'm kind of running, it's a lot of Tomb Raider scenarios where like you have to back up and then run to the very edge and then jump and then grab the ledge. But I found myself like kind of not being able to line up my jumps really properly, whether I was backing up or running forward. I found myself kind of running off the edge of things a couple of times. I'm just like, why does this feel so mushy? So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to get out of the level. I'm going to stop playing the story of Tomb Raider 2, and I'm going to go into Lara's Mansion, which has an obstacle course that you can run through as part of a tutorial. And, as you do it, it's optional. Like it basically, you can explore her mansion and her, you can explore her mansion. Gross. You can explore the mansion. You can explore like there's a maze that you can run through. There's the butler. There's a swimming pool. There's secrets in the mansion. You can do all these things. You can just run around it for free as part of like a tutorial. So I'm going through the obstacle course in the mansion, and I'm struggling to do some of the early parts of the jumps. If you remember in Tomb Raider, there are times where you'd have to basically like look straight forward, but then jump like a 90-degree jump to your left or to your right. In some cases, like basically you're looking forward, but you're jumping to the right in order to make some of those jumps. Now, in fairness, none of those jumps were required during the level of Tomb Raider 2 that I was playing, but they do come up as part of the tutorial because they're like, hey, you're going to need to know to do this like side jump sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, let me try it. Couldn't do it. I'm like, okay, let me look in the controls. And the control in the game for modern controls do not tell you how to do the side jump. So I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Did they take out the side jump in Tomb Raider 2? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So then I go to Reddit and I'm like, I just go to Google and I type in how to do side jump Tomb Raider remastered Reddit. And I'm like, someone on Reddit has told me this, right? Someone on Reddit knows. And then I'm looking and it says in Reddit that you have to equip your guns. Basically in the new Tomb Raider remaster, when you have your guns out, you're basically holding like L2 and then you're shooting with R2, kind of like if you were aiming at like a Call of Duty or something, but she locks on, right? So in original Tomb Raider, you press triangle and then I think you pressed like square or X to shoot, and then you kind of like jumped and fumbled with the controls in that way. In this, you are holding L2 to equip your guns, and then you are jumping, and that's what activates the side jump. And I'm like, okay, hold L2 and then hold L2 and then jump. Okay. I go back to the remastered game, Tomb Raider 2. I go back to the Lara's Mansion, and I'm like, okay, I get to the part where the side jumping needs to happen. I'm like, okay, hold L2 and jump. Well, Lara doesn't have any guns in her house. There's no part in Tomb Raider 2 in her mansion where you are equipped with guns. So you could hold L2, but she doesn't grab anything. She doesn't do anything, and it doesn't activate the side jump like mode. So you literally cannot do the side jumps in Lara's Mansion in the Tomb Raider 2 tutorial level with the modern control. Literally, unless there are guns hiding in her house, I didn't find any. I did go around and explore the mansion, but like, I literally couldn't, you cannot do it. It cannot be done. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck, dude? Like, if you didn't know that you were supposed to do this mechanic and you just fired up these games for the first time, sight unseen, you would have no way of knowing that the tutorial, which is optional, is essentially broken. Like, it's fundamentally broken. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, fuck this. I'm going to do this stupid, I'm going to familiarize myself with the original controls. I'm in the tutorial level. Let's just run this obstacle course again. And I hate to say it, but those old fucked up controls are much easier to operate than the new modern controls. I can't remember the last time I played a game that was remastered. Even a scenario where the original game is kind of running in the background, like in this scenario. I can't remember a time where the modern controls were so much worse than the new controls. Like, I'm not even joking. Now, maybe I would have had better luck if I tried Tomb Raider 1 or 3. Like, I think in Tomb Raider 3, you can run through Lara's mansion and she has guns because there's like a gun shooting tutorial in her mansion. I think like the butler has a bulletproof vest and you can like shoot him. But what the fuck? And they've updated this game. They've patched this game. This game came out in February of last year. And it doesn't have, they didn't fix that part of the tutorial. Like, what the fuck? It's so bad. The modern controls are so bad. So in chat, kind of bringing that up, the modern controls in Tomb Raider Remastered are awful. It completely scared me off of trying the 4, 5, and 6 remaster because Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, which was the first PS2 game, does not play well. Even the game's also missing a brightness slider. That makes sense. Yeah, there's like very little people in chat kind of reminding me, like, there's very little like options in this Tomb Raider remaster. There's like, it's very sparse. It's sparse the way that the original game was sparse, but it's not, it doesn't feel, sorry, it's okay. So 4, 5. Yeah, that's the other thing is Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, which is like their gritty reboot, is a very dark game in terms of like, it's a lot of Lara Croft running around at night in like cities and night. It's not great. Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness is bad for a variety of reasons, but it's a dark game. It's hard to see shit. Like I remember there's a part in Angel of Darkness where you're in like this nightclub, like this nightclub's like closed and you're running along like the stage, like scaffolding and lights and stuff. And it's just like so dark and it's hard to see a damn thing. So the fact that this remaster is broken and messed up in a variety of ways is incredibly disappointing. I would say stay away from Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remaster unless you really want to play through those games with original controls. And I'd probably stay away from 4, 5, and 6 remaster because those seem to have their own problems. The final thing I'll say about my Tomb Raider remaster story is I was going through my PC games library and I came across a game called Tomb Raider Anniversary. And Tomb Raider Anniversary is a PS2 and I think 360 era remake. It's a full-on remake of the original Tomb Raider 1 game. So this was completely remade. There was like new cutscenes and new parts of the environment, and it was a remake of the game. And that game came out like PS2. So it's like not that much older to some extent than, maybe it's like late PS2. I think it's like a later PS2. It must have been because it would have come to 360. All I'm saying is Tomb Raider Anniversary holds up so much better than these Tomb Raider remasters. I couldn't believe it. Like, you would think with a remaster, you kind of give people what they want, put a little bit of lipstick on the pig, you improve a little bit here and there, whatever, right? But in the case of like Tomb Raider Anniversary, that game is so, like, those games are so much better off being remade than remastered that I'm surprised that these remasters came out in the state that they're in, knowing that Anniversary came out like 10 years ago or however long ago. I kind of have the philosophy that really the only Tomb Raider games worth playing are, yeah, the enemies are pretty dumb. Yeah, so in the Tomb Raider Anniversary, you also get like a grappling hook, so you can like kind of run and basically they were doing grapple hook stuff before Uncharted were, but in Anniversary you're kind of like you're running and jumping and grappling and doing all this stuff. The enemies are really dumb, and the lock on targeting is a little weird, and there's some weird stuff to the game, but like I feel like the weird stuff in that game is almost like indicative of the time when it came out, not necessarily what it attempted to remake, if that makes any sense. Like I feel like a lot of games probably had dumb enemies and weird targeting in the PS2 era, because that was the PS2 era. They hadn't quite figured out a lot of the running and shooting even for the time. But if you like, I'm kind of the mind that really the only Tomb Raider games worth playing is that reboot trilogy. I'm talking Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Like I feel like those are the Tomb Raider games, not just of note, but worth playing. I think those that remastered, the reboot trilogy. You know, we have your remakes in Tomb Raider Anniversary. We have your remaster in terms of Tomb Raider Remastered 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 in their collection. And then we have the reboot in Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I feel like the reboot trilogy is really the only games worth playing. That being said, Anniversary is not bad. It seems like a product of its era, but it isn't nearly as offensively bad as, you know what? Offensively bad is a strong word. Tomb Raider Remaster seems so bad, it makes me wonder why they bothered. Whether you want to consider that to be an offense to you as a player of games, an offense to the legacy of those original games, the Tomb Raider Remaster is so bad, I wonder why they even bothered. I really do. I really, really do. And now they're like starting to bundle those games together, so you can get 1 through 6 for like $60 or whatever they're selling it for. I think Anniversary is okay for what it's worth, though I was thinking about, because I have them on PC, and I don't know if I'm going to get to these like anytime soon or anything like that, but there's this part of me that wants to go back and play Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld. Those are the PS2 and 360 like reboot games. Tomb Raider Legend is Tomb Raider 6 is Angel of Darkness, a game that bombed so hard that they basically had to reboot the whole thing with Tomb Raider Legend, with Crystal Dynamics taking up Tomb Raider Legend. Crystal Dynamics would go on to be the people that would make the reboot trilogy we know as, you know, Tomb Raider Shadow and Rise of the Tomb Raider. And then Tomb Raider Underworld, which is kind of a follow-up to Tomb Raider Legend. So I have been looking at a lot of Tomb Raider games recently, and I don't know why. I guess it's just nostalgic for that era of gaming, but it's like, be careful what you wish for. The people in we got MT7 in chat saying, I wish it would at least give us a 60 frames per second version with the original graphics in remastered in 1, 2, 3. Apparently it's impossible to do because the engine works at 30, but then it came out that you modify the executable to change its variable and it runs at 60 FPS, no problem. Well, that's the other thing, is that the frame rate this is a good point. The frame rate with the remastered graphics is so smooth compared to the original graphics that that's also weird. Like, I feel like maybe like my timing of the jumps and stuff were, you know, made worse with the modern controls, while also because I was playing it in the new graphics, so I'm like, it's a lot smoother of an experience. It's a much faster game because it's 60 frames per second compared to 30. I'm almost wondering if they just like, I don't know, man. I mean, they've done it. They've already done it. Like, what else besides just full on remake 1, 2, and 3? Like, what do they do? What do they do? Because I don't think they're going to go back and like Cyberpunk 2077, update this until it's like the game everybody wants it to be. I feel like this was made relatively on the cheap, right? For a remaster. So what can they do? Like, would people want a remake of 1, 2, and 3? Probably not. I don't know. They already did that. Oh, God. This is why, like, when I think about the Tomb Raider franchise and I talk about it with people who maybe aren't familiar with Tomb Raider or haven't played Tomb Raider in a while, this is why I tell them, just go play those most recent 3 games and don't even think about the original ones. I'm not trying to say that those original games are like irredeemable. They don't offer any value. It's just, and they're still fun to play. It's just, those original games are fun to play in their own right, and they offer value and historical context. It's just the fact that somebody who maybe isn't familiar with Tomb Raider has to think about that going into a remaster, or to a lesser extent anniversary, is why I would just say, like, just play the new ones. And if you really, really, really want to get into the other games, do that after. But anyways, maybe I'll come back with Tales of Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld. I remember thinking that they had a lot of the same controls as Tomb Raider Anniversary did. I feel like Anniversary took from either directly or indirectly a lot of the controls and mechanics from Legend and Underworld for that remake. But yeah, I don't know. I had Tomb Raider on the brain, and that's so far mostly just led to confusion and frustration. But hey, I'll always have those 3 new games, and I'm okay with that. Maybe 4, 5, and 6 are better just because they're slightly more modern games. It's hard to say, but like the problem I had is, like, you can't do the sideways jump without having guns equipped, and you can't equip your guns in some parts of the game. Okay, people saying 6 is Angel of Darkness is still not good. Not able to save it. Yes, dude. Angel of Darkness. You should look. If you've never seen Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, you should just look at it, because it does not take long to realize, oh my God, what the hell? Like, I guess my question is, like, what would it take for Aspyr and Crystal Dynamics to just put in a one more fix that said, oh, just hold LT or L2 whenever you want, and you can jump even if you don't have guns equipped? Like, why do you need to physically hold the guns to do the sideways jump with modern controls? I feel like that would get through a lot of my would get rid of a lot of my problems that I at least had initially, because of that. It's just such a weird oversight, because like a lot of people liked running around Lara's mansion. They liked doing the jumping puzzles even in her mansion, and shooting the butler and doing all that stuff. But yeah, so I almost bought Lara Croft in Fortnite. I was like, okay, this is the Lara Croft that I want. I want Lara Croft shooting John Cena while twerking with Deadpool or whatever you do in Fortnite. So there's almost this part of me that's like, I should just buy the Lara Croft outfit. That'd be fun. But anyways, maybe I'll come back with Tales of Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld next week. There's so many other games that I've been playing, but I've just been in this weird funk of just playing a lot of different games, messing around with a lot of different games. I haven't even gone back to Doom the Dark Ages. I'm not going to tell you that Doom the Dark Ages is bad, but so far I have not felt Reboot Lara. Reboot Lara is okay. She's like more reboot. Okay, so I don't want to like spoil anything for people who haven't played the rebooted games, but the problem with Reboot Lara is she is so sad for someone who is so good at killing people. Like, I feel like that's my problem with the reboot, is she's like, there's a lot of emotional weight that she carries as someone who is murking fools left and right pretty easily. She also has a touch of that John Wick issue that I have, where in Lara Croft's not like the bad guy in any of the trilogy series, but like I feel like one of the problems she has is almost every person she interacts with or everything she touches in that reboot series turns to shit. Like she's ruining a lot of people's lives throughout. She ruins a lot of people's lives while also becoming, because if, for people who don't know, like the reboot Tomb Raider series, it's also like her becoming the Tomb Raider. That's why it's like Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. She's becoming more of the Tomb Raider. And then 3 is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. She's like, I am the Tomb Raider and all this stuff. But she is really inexperienced in that game and then becomes very experienced of killing people in a very short period of time. But they treat it. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up talking about Tomb Raider. They treat it with emotional weight of like, oh my God, I just killed this person. I'm such a, I'm a killer. I murdered. I did all this stuff. And then you are just full on Nathan Draking it throughout the rest of the game. And I think that's the one thing is the emotion that is carried throughout the story sometimes feels disconnected from the gameplay. The actual plot of like, go here, do this, go kill this person, go find this thing, unlock this door, grab this equipment to go find this thing. Like that's all fine. Like that doesn't feel often too disconnected, but I think they really try to go between being like a raucous summer blockbuster with like guns and shooting and explosions to also, kind of telling this emotional, tragic tale of someone like, coming to terms with the violent nature of her history, her family, what she was kind of born and bred to do. Like there is a little bit of a disconnect, but like if you just go, oh, I have to go get this mystical artifact so I can go kill this guy who's probably a white supremacist or whatever, you know how it is with these games, and he's going to, bring about the Third Reich with a mystical dagger, whatever's going on in those games. Like that's all fine. That's all good, right? The terrorists that are trying to stop Lara from stopping them, that story is fine. I think it's just the part where sometimes those emotional story beats, because like they were, kind of coming at it from the perspective of like, hey, we're gonna mix some of the emotion that you found in Last of Us to some extent with the swashbuckling nature of Uncharted. And I just feel like you do one or the other. You either are Nathan Drake and Indiana Jones, or you are Joel and Ellie. And maybe there's a world where someone could find a way to balance that out. But like they kind of do that in all 3 games. Like every game, Lara is struggling with the nature of being a Tomb Raider, while also being incredibly effective of both raiding tombs and shooting dudes. But again, I think those games are great. Like I like in general, I really, really enjoy them, not just in the context of, them being my favorite games in the Tomb Raider series, but also I think like from a gameplay perspective, they add a little bit more depth to the climbing compared to something like Uncharted. They add a little bit more puzzle stuff to Uncharted. They add a little bit more of that crafting and that exploration and stuff than like an Uncharted. Like gameplay wise, they didn't do a bad job of basically splitting the difference between the collectible, like crafting, exploration type stuff in Last of Us with the running, the jumping, the climbing, the shooting, fast paced gunplay of Uncharted. Like I think gameplay wise, I think that's neat, right? Of like, I came across this ice wall, but I don't have the pick to get it. MT talking about the Metroidvania design of like, I came across this ice wall and I don't have the pick to climb it yet. I guess I'll come back to this area, 5 hours from now, and I'll have the ice pick, and then maybe that'll give me an optional side quest or a dungeon or a tomb or collectible or whatever. They tie that into the story. Like there are also times where it's like, hey, we really need to get across this area, but we don't have the item. So we're going to go do other stuff in the story, get that item, and then come back. They do that as well. And I think that is a lot of fun. But yeah, whereas the Tomb Raider like 1, 2, and 3 and that stuff are very straightforward run, jump, puzzle. Like they're 3D platformers, right? It's, Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 share more in common with like a Crash Bandicoot. It's a weird analogy than what the new Tomb Raider games became. So if you were looking for like, one of those types of games with like a slower, more deliberate, more thoughtful sense of game progression, like I think those the rebooted Tomb Raider games are great. They do feel, MTA talking about like feeling very distinct between one another. They definitely do. I think tonally they try. Gameplay wise, I think they do a little bit better job of it. Like, I remember feeling like Tomb Raider 1 is like a very wet game, a very dank game, and not in the weed sense. And 2 is a very cold game. And then 3 is a very like hot, and I don't mean hot in the like, Lara is so hot, put her on the cover of Playboy. I mean like they do an effective job of like tying gameplay and stuff to like the environment and the things like that. And they're good. I think, listen, my hot take is those, there was also, that's true. There in the third game, there are a lot more puzzles. And then when they ramp up the action in 3, it's some of the craziest action, like some of the craziest, like Call of Duty-esque set piece and moments exist in 3. But I think they exist in a way where it's like, okay, we're going to reward you for a little bit of that with a game that's mostly puzzles. So 3 definitely has probably the most puzzles, and then less action. But when they do it, it's a little more over the top, Call of Duty-esque, everything is blowing up sort of thing, which, makes sense. Third game in the trilogy, if shit's going to pop off in a violent way, it might as well be in the craziest violent way you have seen it so far. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll replay those games. Maybe one day I'll go back and play Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, whether that be original or remastered. Or like I said, maybe I'll go play Tomb Raider Legend Anniversary. Talk more about that. If they ever put Lara Croft on in Fortnite again, maybe I'll buy the Lara Croft thing so that it'll pair nicely with my Rick Astley dance move that I have in Fortnite. It's just a shame about remastered. It's such a shame because that was meant to be the game for people who loved the original games. And I feel like remastered is a game that is loved by nobody as a result of its funky controls and weird technical issues. Well, anything else? Anything coming up soon? Like anything coming out soon? Oh, you know what people were saying I got to go play is that Deliver at All Cost game, that kind of top-down driving action game. People are saying, oh, I got to go play Deliver at All Cost one of these days. Maybe I'll do that. They put out that free Sea of Stars expansion. Maybe I'll mess around with some of that. Let's just type in game releases. Obviously, we have the Switch 2 coming out. Like, I get that. But what's coming out in June? Elden Ring Night Rain is coming out. That's the multiplayer Elden Ring game. That's out on the 30th. Disney Illusion Island. That's also out May 30th. What's NWO Anarchy Collapsed? Well, that's not a WCW game. Then I'm not interested. Yeah, so Switch 2 out June 5th, man. So not next week, but the week after. There'll be people playing Switch 2. MT in chat asking, how's Dark Ages compared to Eternal? So I have not played a lot of Dark Ages. If I go over to my Xbox, loading it up here on my Xbox app. Does it show me how long? Where can I see that? Here we go. I've only put about 2.5 hours into Doom the Dark Ages, which is surprising because I was really looking forward to the game. I think my problem with Doom the Dark Ages is that, so I think I'm at the flying section. I got the dragon and I stopped right around, like, basically you do the dragon tutorial, then you're like, go take over these 3 things or 4 things or whatever, and then you fight those things, and I haven't done that yet, but I got out of the dragon tutorial. I think my problem with Doom the Dark Ages is that it's the 3rd Doom game in a relatively short period of time. I think Doom the Dark Ages is a better game than Doom Eternal, because I think that's the running, the jumping, the mobility, the dashing in Doom Eternal. I think, like, and also how rigid the combat puzzle was of, like, oh, you have to shoot the rocket into the demon's mouth to blow them up, because it's going to do very little damage all the way. Like, I think that stuff was a little too rigid and a little too frustrating for my taste in Doom Eternal. That being said, like, Doom Eternal was more of what I wanted, and Doom the Dark Ages is more of what I wanted, but I think I just maybe want less Doom than I thought. It's a bizarre thing. I need to maybe spend some more time with it before I completely write the game off. But I think it's an area where if you started with this as your first Doom game, you would have a good time. If you started with Doom 2016 as your first Doom game, you would probably have a good time as well. But if you played through 2016 and Eternal and then you got to this, I feel like it's more of the same to an extent, and what is different, like the dragon flying stuff, like the mech stuff, like the shield stuff, like the blocking, like the parrying. I think it's a game that's just filled with gimmicks, and I think this time around, the gimmicks are just not gimmicky enough to break up the fact that I have been playing this game for some time now. There's definitely the possibility where, like, yeah, after the dragon sequences and that stuff, and you get back to shooting on foot and getting more abilities and getting your Captain America shield throwing stuff, that game definitely picks up. I just haven't quite gotten to a point where that game has fully clicked for me in terms of, like, oh no, this is actually what I wanted in the end. So, I'll get to it eventually. Oh my God, I totally forgot. Hold on, not to derail ourselves. Speaking of PlayStation 1 games getting remastered, Gex Trilogy is out June 16th. How did I forget that Gex Trilogy is coming out so very soon? How much is, sorry, not to distract myself, how much is Gex Trilogy? Conveniently, there is no price for the Gex games right now, but you are going to get Gex, Enter the Gecko, and Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko, featuring HBO comedian Dana Gould, among other things. Is Gex 1 a 2D side scroller? I don't think I've ever actually seen Gex 1 before. It's a 2D side scroller. That is significantly less interesting. And then, of course, Gex Enter the Gecko and Gex 3, which also features Baywatch's Marlise Andrada as the beautiful agent extra, spoofing buxom spy babes of the past. Gex is not like, oh right, you can run the Xbox Series S as dev mode. Yeah, for people who don't know, any Xbox can be a developer console, and that unlocks a lot of software and features. and people can use those software features for a variety of things, such as emulating and playing old console games if they want to, such as PS1, which is what MT and Chad is doing. But yeah, Gex, if you want to look up Gex, go ahead and look up Gex. Gex is dumb. It's a dumb trilogy of games from the PS1 era. And now I know why no one ever talks about Gex 1, because it's a 2D platformer. Yeah, it's like but it's a mascot so I would say like Gex is like a platformer, like a Spyro or a Crash, in a world where those platformers were already pretty locked down by the good ones. Like, no one is sitting around being like, I like Gex more than I like Mario, or I like Gex more than I like Crash or Spyro, or was there but okay, we're gonna rank this right now. Just bear with me. Up at the top, you have like your Spyros, your Marios, your Crash Bandicoots, and then like somewhere in the middle to lower middle is like your Gexes. You might put like, I don't know, like your Donkey Kong Country 3D somewhere in the middle, and then you hit the bottom, and then once you hit the bottom, you're going to start digging. And basically, don't stop digging until you hit bedrock, and that's where Bubsy 3D and like Rascal exists as far as 3D platformers on the PlayStation era. So way to go, Gex. Gex, you're not the worst 3D mascot platformer of that era. Bubsy 3D, is Bubsy 3D seen a remaster? And I'm gonna type in Bubsy into my I'm gonna type in Bubsy into my computer here and probably get a virus. The Bubsy twofer, Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind. So they never put out Bubsy 3D on like on a recent release. Interesting. They put out what is this? Bubsy the Perfect. Oh no. What is this? Hold on. What is this? Hold on. What is this called? Bubsy in the Perfect Collection. Bubsy's a cat. Okay, here we go. This is coming out in 2025. They didn't say when exactly. This is a collection of Bubsy games. Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind. Bubsy 2. Bubsy in Fractured Furry Tales. And Bubsy 3D. So it is happening. Bubsy 3D is gonna be a thing, and it's coming out again sometime this year. And then for those who really hate themselves, they can play the more modern Bubsy games, such as Bubsy the Woolies Strike Back, and a runner. I think this is a runner called Bubsy Paws on Fire. If you're listening and you don't know anything about, wait a minute, hold on. This Bubsy runner was made by the people who made Bit Trip. What the hell? How is that possible? How could the Bit Trip is so good? The Bit Trip games are so good. How the hell did these people get stuck making a goddamn Bubsy game? What the? Oh, man. Bit Trip Runner is so good. Bit Trip Runner 2 is also good. I don't know if Bit Trip Runner 2 is available in a lot of places. Commander Video. This is a great name. It's a great name for a character. I like Commander Video. I wish I could be Commander Video. And I wish I had more time to play more video games, but there's only so many times, so many hours in the day, so many days in a week, so many weeks in a month, so many months in a year, and so many years in a lifetime. And we've spent that time today talking about video games. That is going to do it for the Glitch Report podcast. I'm sorry we ended talking about Bubsy. I'm partially sorry we talked about Gex, but Gex isn't nearly as bad as Bubsy. I would put like Croc. Like I would say Croc is better than Gex and Gex is better than Bubsy. And Rascal, and I have Rascal fresh in my mind because Giant Bomb is playing Rascal right now on their channel. Rascal is better than, is Rascal better than Bubsy? You know what? I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to have to think about it for the next week because we do this show every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have been GnittWitt. The Glitch Report podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. We put it up there. It's just mostly me and my face, but that's okay. You can get the audio version if you think I have the face for radio. Do I have to play Gex now? Is that what I have to do? Do I have to play Gex when that comes out? I mean, I had so much luck with Tomb Raider. I'll think about it. That's going to do it for the podcast. And we're going to see you all next week. Take it easy.